Welcome to the Pitmaster Podcast. We're barbecue competition competitors that aim to share information, advice, tips, and tall tales about our favorite pastime. Head over to thepitmasterpodcast.com for all things Pitmasters, or follow us on your favorite social media platform. And now, here are the hosts of the Pitmaster Podcast, the two-time grand champion, SCA World Champion finalist, and barbecue specialist of Smoke Ain't No Joke Barbecue, the Anthony Luan, and the 24-time grand and reserve grand champion, reserve world grand champion, Windover High Roller champion, and the founder of Pitmaster Barbecue Supply Company stores in Utah, the old man himself from Big Johnson's Barbecue, Jesse Johnson.
This is Greg Rempe from the Barbecue Central Show, and you are listening to the Pitmasters Podcast, and they are doing it live.
We'll do it live.
That's right, Bill. I just said that. They're going to do it live.
We'll do it live.
Yes, live. They're going to do it live.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Pitmaster Podcast. I'm Jesse Johnson. Anthony Luan is having some computer issues. So I'm going to kick off the interview, and actually let me digress for 2 seconds. We are going to be meeting with a bunch of the local teams this next Saturday, because at the Blue Compass RV competition, which is now going to be a Jack qualifier, we've got enough teams for that. We will we're going to be go over what local teams or all the teams that are at the event, they can vend at that event. The plan is Friday night, we're going to do a hot dog contest sponsored by Bingham's Meats in Morgan, Utah. And then on Saturday, we'll do our normal competition and have the teams probably vend from 2 to 5 o'clock at the event. But we're going to work out the details. We'll get them posted on all the social media, and you can see that. But we have Hey, he's alive.
We'll see if my computer can stay stable. For some strange reason, it went into recovery mode after not being on for 2 weeks, I guess.
Yeah, well, when you go on these long vacations, that's what happens.
All right, let's get this figured out. Thank you for going through this. But yeah, man, super excited for that event. I can't wait to cook that one.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to do the hot dogs again, and then teams can vend and make a little bit of money and offset their costs for their competition, because competition barbecue is obviously very expensive to do. So
exactly.
I was talking about that today with a couple of our customers, and they were talking about the price of briskets. I said, but you can win or lose a competition on Tuesday when you pick your meats. So you have a chance to cook a Wagyu brisket, and you have a chance to recoup your money if you're a winner chicken dinner. And what's funny, we're talking about it, and then Anella Keslow from I just lost the name of her company.
Snake River?
Snake River Farms, yeah. We were just talking about her briskets and everything else, and then she texted me that, like, during the conversation, I'm like, your ears must be burning, kiddo. So
heck yeah. So there's just a whole bunch of competitions coming up. They went from literally nothing to everything. And your event starts it off for the KCBS side. You do have a backyard event this month, correct?
In April.
Yes.
In April. So teams are already getting signed up for that. So that'll be exciting. Kick everything off, and then pro teams can obviously enter that contest and get some feedback. Can't win, but you can get some feedback on your barbecue. Get the season started. It's a great way to kick it off. Is get some feedback on your barbecue for the big pro event, because that's a $10,000 contest now.
I might need to do that, because I need to practice my chicken run. I need to practice chicken and ribs. Pork and brisket are it's all in the judges' hands when it comes to that, because you can cook the best thing you can with the judges. But chicken and ribs, I feel like you can actually really drive that if it's going to be a great cook or not.
You've got to do good in chicken. You just do.
You have to.
There's so many good chicken cooks in barbecue competitions. There's so many good ones. That's why there's so many 180s in chicken.
Right. Exactly. Speaking of 180s, that happened a couple of weeks ago. The Barbecue Festival in Yuma, Arizona. GC out there was B Mackin and the RGC was Meat Candy. And actually, what's funny is you brought that up. B Mackin only took one set. It was a 178.857 in chicken, so there wasn't actually any 180s in chicken.
But you've got to score well in chicken to kick off the competition, because if you fall behind in chicken, you're behind.
You really are. Right out the gate.
Yep, because everybody cooks good chicken these days. It's like, even at the backyard events, I've had better chicken and ribs at a backyard competition than I've had judging a professional event before. Like, I did them back to back weeks. I'm like, this stuff isn't even compared to what the backyard cooks cooked last week. So
yeah. Well, as for SEA events, there's not really many things going off. I just want to let everybody know that maybe traveling this week or listening because they're traveling. Good luck at Worlds this weekend.
Yep.
There will be a new SEA Grand Champion crowned in ribs, then steak, and then ancillaries as well. So,
well, and then right after Blue Compass, we got Nate Benson's competition down at American Fork, and unfortunately, that very same weekend, Arlie Bragg's back in the business. He's going to be in Grand Junction, Colorado, with a KCBS event there, and I want to say that's $50,000.
Jeez, man, that's a lot of money.
If I remember right, that competition is going to be $50,000. So there's going to be some heavy hitters there.
Yep,
I think I've only gotten 2 calls in Grand Junction before.
I got to go to Grand Junction even cook to even get a call. So that's more than I've ever had.
Got to be on your game. So,
yep. And then, dude, Jesse, if you can, you should come to this event down in Richfield. It's an SEA event. They're going to give out a total of 9 golden tickets. So there's going to be 2 steaks, pie, anything mac and cheese Friday night. Saturday's 2 steaks, anything shrimp, ribs, and a jackpot steak.
I saw that post. What's the date on that?
June 26th and 27th. We'll do it for my birthday, because my birthday's on the 28th.
Because we always had a conflict between Norute Barbecue Championships and that Severe Sear, correct?
Yep, correct.
Yeah. So and if I remember, I'll have to check the dates, because we do an annual family camping trip the week before the 4th of July. So that might be right in the middle of that. So
that sounds right about the mix.
Yeah. So, but this year, TAC is going to be down in Bryan Head. It's a week earlier than they had it in Northern Utah. So, and I messaged Larry, who runs the fairgrounds, and I said, "Hey, is Blaze of 47 happening?" And he goes, "I don't know."
Oh, that should already be on the books.
Yeah, because you only have a 90-day window to get your sanctioning done by the KCBS. So that puts us we're March, April, June. There's 3 months. They wait too much longer. In March, they're going to be out of the window.
I'm not mad at it, because that
would make Blue Compass an automatic.
Exactly. So I'm not mad at it.
Well, as much as I'd love to have Blue Compass be an auto, I want competition teams in our area to be able to cook more KCBS events. So,
I think a lot of teams are going to be chasing the Barbecue World Cup on the West Coast, so they're going to take advantage of any of those cooks that pop up as well too. So
that's
going to be huge.
And that list is growing longer and longer as we go. So
nothing. Sorry about my voice, guys. Sorry about my voice tonight too, man. I went to Mexico for a week. Fantastic. The day I wake up to fly home, I catch some kind of weird flu bug.
What part of Mexico were you in?
Cancun, man. I was on vacation. What other part would you go to if you're just going to be drinking and partying?
Because stuff was popping off in Puerto Vallarta. I just hope you weren't down there.
No, that's done and over with. They did what they're going to do, and we got back to partying and enjoying good food on the beach.
Good. I'm glad you were safe, brother.
Yeah, except for coming back with this weird flu bug. It's weird. Yeah, but we're good.
Get some nicotine in you. It'll kick everything out.
You think? If I go and take a Zen pack right now, it'd help?
Dude, it will. It's funny how that it will kill people that have had long COVID, the fix for long COVID has been nicotine patches.
Really?
Like they'll get over it within a week.
I'm gonna go pop a Zenner after here and just see what happens. I have one.
Yeah.
See if this helps me. It's not COVID. It's definitely a flu thing because I have COVID before. It wasn't even close. This was worse.
Yeah. COVID. I had COVID twice, and first one was a little rough. For the second one, I tested positive, but I was still training, lifting, and I gave myself that 5-day window to get away from people. But yeah, it was nothing.
Yeah. Maybe I just don't have any barbecue sauce left in my system. That's what caused me to get sick.
Gotta get that sugar and spices in you, man. Exactly. Make everything nice.
Speaking of sugar and spice, man, we have Jeremy from L's Barbecue online. Sorry, I'm a little fuzzy here, but yeah, he knows all about sauces, slinging it daily. He's been doing it for a long time. Got 4 food trucks going. This is going to be awesome. We'll go talk to him and see.
It'll be interesting what he's doing with because he's got 4 food trailers.
Food trailers, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what most guys in the barbecue world, they're not doing the trucks, they're doing trailers.
Yeah. So we'll go talk to him about it and see when he started really making money in this game, because it's not an opportunity to make a ton of money in barbecue right now.
Well, with the price of beef going sky high, and the price of fuel getting up there, things are going to get a little tighter, and I think this year. So,
yep. Well, let's go talk to him, man.
Let's do it.
This is the single best investment you can make to become a better cook.
Thermopen 1 is the best thermometer I've ever had.
My thermometer of choice is ThermoWorks.
When it comes to quality that I can trust, this is the company that I go to over and over again.
There may be other thermometers out there, but there aren't other Thermopens.
Jeremy, welcome to the show. Or Jimmy, sorry.
That's all right.
All right.
Jimmy, Jeremy, whatever it takes, right?
Yeah. Close enough. I've been all worse, I promise.
All right.
It gets called worse because you're in Nebraska, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So my buddy's son played basketball at Nebraska last year. Raleigh Wooster.
I don't follow the basketball. This year I should, because they're on top of it, but it's football and we're not very good at it.
God, Nebraska used to be just an absolute powerhouse in the 80s, man. You couldn't even get a scratch and sniff when you come and play those guys, because there was some big old corn-fed boys.
80s, 90s, and now it is what it is, and they just can't get it back, and it's rough. It actually affects business, so it's crazy.
Do you do any vending over at the university?
No, they don't allow any. So last year they reached out for some basketball stuff, and we're on the opposite side of the state. So by the time we're trying to set it up, I'm sure there's a million guys over there that jumped on it before we could get it. So we're getting that.
How many food trucks, food trailers are you running right now?
4 is what we've got. We run 3 pretty consistently. The 4th one, I don't like the trailer. The girls don't like the trailer very well, so it's kind of an emergency trailer. So,
gotcha.
So, what got you into this? Like, were you just passionate about cooking at home, and then you decided to share it? Where was the start of the story here with you?
Always cooked. Grew up cooking. Mom couldn't cook, so I kind of she hates that, but I've cooked since I've been pretty much cooked for my family since I was 10, 12 years old. And then one of my neighbors moved or was here, and he was from Oklahoma, and him and I really hit it off. And he'd been to Oklahoma, he'd been through South Carolina for a stint, and he had a smoker and a small offset, and then we were doing it, and I was learning. He taught me how to cook briskets and everything, and I ask a bazillion questions, so I just kept asking, and I'm always looking for that next opportunity. And we were at the Oktoberfest one year, and it was a major beer drinking event, and where we were sitting, there happened to be a guy that was selling barbecue, and every time he lifted the lid off of his roasters, people got up because of the smell and went, and I was like, I think we could do this. And then, my buddy his son was graduating, and we were going to go drink beer all night and party, and he ended up with like 400 people show up for the graduation. And
oh, wow.
Right there, 18 years ago, it kicked off, and we haven't looked back.
Right.
That's awesome.
I can't even imagine doing my own food thing for 18 years. That's crazy. Jesse, you've done business. Have you operated a business consecutively for 18 years other than your DJ stuff?
No. The agency been running since 98. So that's still running. And then the gym is 13 years.
There we go.
So so it's been running for 13 years now. So, and
it's probably completely different from when you started. Completely different from when you thought.
I'm sure it's completely different for him because
for sure
the price of briskets have gone through the roof in the last 20 years.
Yeah,
I remember buying briskets for $1.75 a pound, and you go get primes for right around $2 a pound now.
Yeah,
now you're almost $5 for a choice, and then you're almost $6 for a prime.
Yeah.
What have you seen, Jimmy?
Well, we're lucky. We move enough volume now that our brisket price is pretty much locked in. But I know this summer my guys were trying to buy briskets from me because all my fair going buddies, because they were paying $6.50 for them. So
wow,
right. And let's talk about that a little bit too.
Let me ask you real quick: are you running choice? Or you running primes?
I run choice. We work. The amount we go through, I do run choice, but I also run certified Greater Omaha Herefords. So our choice isn't the same choice that you're buying at the grocery store from whoever. We're getting a premium cut and premium quality. So
yeah, and that's what kind of was segue into the next question, is that you've been working with the same cattle company for a long time. You're all about local. You don't really outsource. You're usually using a local beef, right?
Well, local, not local. So we buy from Greater Omaha, which 10 years ago, we got a shipment of Greater Omaha Hereford briskets, and we weren't supposed to get them. Our distributor just accidentally sent them, but I cooked them, and I was like, okay, there's something to this. And ever since we've got that, I don't switch. And then the great thing about that is most of the Herefords come out of Western Nebraska. So I'm cooking local beef and almost 99% Nebraska beef. So,
knowing your sources and knowing where your beef comes from is a big part of if you're doing that kind of volume, because who knows what you're going to get in Sam's Club or Costco, because they're switching brands all the time.
Well, 2 months ago, one of our first it was this fall. Anyway, we were shipped some briskets. Our distributor has us on a never let us run out because of the volume we move. And we ended up with some briskets that were like 20. I weighed one. I was like, this doesn't even look like brisket. It was 28 pounds.
Oh my God.
And the whole case was full of it. Just this huge slab of meat. Well, I cooked 12 to 18 at the very biggest. And, you guys have done this long enough. It's hard. They're not that consistent when the back end of that brisket was almost 8 inches tall.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
So, my distributors tell me I'm one of the most picky people there is, but
that's
all right. You're looking for consistency, the end result is what you're looking for every single time. Jesse and I, we could go through and, get 100 briskets laid out in front of us, and we know what we like. We know exactly which one we're going to go for. You might have some better premium stuff out there, but it's going to be too big, and we're going to pass on that because we know exactly our timeline, what that brisket is going to do, and everything like that. So it's being picky is key to success.
What size are you trying to get them to send you? What's your favorite size of brisket?
I like 15s. I mean, a 15-pound brisket for me cooks really consistent. But for the volume I do, the other day, last week, I cooked 9 cases of brisket. And every case has 6 briskets in it. So you get little ones, big ones. And so then we have to sort them. And then one cooker gets all small ones. One cooker gets all medium ones. And one cooker gets the really big ones. Just so you can keep it consistent, and because they all cook differently.
Because then you're not babysitting different shelves. You're just babysitting the individual smoker that has that size on there. So they're going to be ballpark in the same temperature range.
They'll be close. Yes.
Yeah. What smokers are you running?
I run the insulated vertical Lone Star grills. I've got 7 of them or 8. I think 7. So, and
he makes a great pit.
He's got it figured out. I wish he'd fix the latches, but him and I've had some talks about that. that's the one piece, man. That's the one piece about it. But yeah, I've got 7, 8 of them. So,
wow,
that's awesome. And then, so walk us through your day. Are you working out of like a commissary? Do you have your own commissary, and then you distribute and send your trailers out? What does your day look like? A normal day for you?
So, a day for us depends on if we're catering or if we're hosting. We've got a venue, we've got a warehouse and a kitchen. It's all tied. It's one big building, one big commercial building. So the front half, we could have, for example, we could have a wedding going at an offsite. We could be hosting a party in the venue, and then we may have 2 trailers off and running. So our day is really kind of up in the air, especially right now because the trailers are just coming out and we're battling weather, but we're just trying to get out. So, I try to have the majority of all the cooking done by Thursday night, Friday morning, and go from there.
So you're just basically running on the weekends then?
No, we run pretty much 7 days a week. I don't believe in taking any time off. So we try to stay. I guess I do some hunting in the winter, but that's about it. But we try to stay as busy as possible. So we cover 5 states. So we could be, I just got back last week. I went to Kansas on Sunday night. Briskets hung up, so I didn't get them ready to go until I got on the road like 2:00 Sunday afternoon. Got to where I was going in central Kansas about 1, 2 in the morning. Vended out of a trailer solo for 3 days. Got home about 1:00 in the morning.
Jesus.
On Thursday morning, got up, ran a dinner Thursday, ran a dinner Friday, 2 dinners Friday. Then 4 in the morning, my wife and I went to Riverton, Wyoming, catered banquet, and got home 2:00 in the afternoon on Sunday. So that's a typical Jimmy L week.
That is some serious juggling going on because you're not on a great big commercial pit where you're like running an Old Hickory or a Southern Pride where you can run 6, 7, 8 cases of brisket on it, and then you have to hold them, and then you have to transport them. Do you slice it? Do you slice at your home facility, or you slice it on location? What are you doing?
Depends on where I'm at. So like Kansas, you have to cook in the state you're operating trailers in. So that makes things a little different. One of my other trailers was also in Kansas, so we got that one fired up and got that going there. But I have I should patent it, but I have a proprietary cooling process for brisket. So I can take them from hot to cold in the set amount of time you're supposed to ice cold, and then I try to cut as much of this stuff cold as possible, because we're reheating a lot when we're on the road. So because we're serving chops and
So you're vacuum sealing them and then heat them on location. You're sous videing them, or will you throw them in the smokers? What are you doing?
Well, we've got a couple different ways. Like I said, I'm an industrial electrician by trade. So automation, before I did this, I taught. So automation and industry and sensors, and we got a lot of science in my kitchen. So
gotcha.
That is awesome. So you're one person. How many people are helping you do this? Are you managing the pits? Do you have somebody that's trained pitmaster with you? What's going on behind the scenes that most people don't see?
So I manage the pits just because I'm so picky, but I've got a couple that are really starting to take some interest in it. So we're slowly going to bring them on, but I'm kind of a control freak when it comes to cooking the meat. But I've got 13. My team consists of 13 of us, and that 13 can pull off 3,000 to 4,000 people a weekend easy.
Wow, that is awesome.
In 4 to 5 locations.
Wow.
That is awesome.
That you are a juggling fool.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. You love it, man. I don't know. I just took 7 days of vacation and I need more. I don't know how you go 7 days straight all the time. It's crazy.
All the time. I won't take another day off until probably November, probably right before Thanksgiving or after Thanksgiving. So,
wow.
Right in time for a hunting season for whitetail in your area, or
Yep. I'll sneak away a little bit, do some whitetail hunting, but that runs into Thanksgiving. We roll out about 200 turkeys Thanksgiving week, and so mostly ducks and geese.
Wow. Something you could do in the morning real quick and then get back to work, huh?
Yeah.
Jeez. That is wild. So I was going to say, so do you plan on expanding this operation, or are you kind of set where you are right now, or what is your plans to move forward?
Oh, that's a great
brick and mortar?
Yeah. No, there's no money in the brick and mortar. Everybody thinks brick and mortar. We live in a town of 6,200 people. Half those are kids.
Yeah.
So we have 3,500 people, maybe 4,500 people that can come in and eat. That's, and out of that 4,500, half of them probably can only afford to eat. So, you're not brick and mortar out in Western Nebraska is not, I don't think that's a very smart way of going. We're chasing the festivals and we do fairs and, a lot of wedding catering. We're hustlers.
Right. And then at what point did you actually were able to start making an income off this? Because we've talked to multiple people on the shows that they do good. They're doing fantastic. They're staying afloat with, one trailer, but they really don't start making money until they're into their second trailer or even third trailer. At what point did you kind of had a breakthrough? Was it to where you just landed more catering gigs versus serving the general public at events?
No, you're going to think I'm an arrogant prick about this, but we're good at what we do. We're very, very good at what we do. Our growth was never hunted. Our growth was sought out. People sought us out. We, tie up quite a bit of local stuff, and we're well received and people want us. And so then we just, as we move into areas, move out a little further, people from further keep asking, hey, come do this. And, it took, your first trailer you got to pay for. That takes some time, probably 3 to 5 years to pay for that. Vehicles, or you're always upgrading vehicles. Really, I would say in 10 years was probably the first time we really saw true money out of it. And now we're kind of going backwards because the expansion eats cost,
eats profits.
Eats profits. So, but we spent all our money last year, so we should be able to recover a good majority of that expansion money this year and be back on looking for a fifth trailer.
Nice. How many square foot is your commercial building? How big is that?
Oh, it's huge. Built. I think this thing was built in like 1909 and then added on 4 or 5 times. It's big. It's a quarter of a block. It's a big warehouse, probably 60 by 80 shop. And then our front end, we seat 50 some people, and, and then there's the office space and the warehouse or in the kitchen. So.
Because you're juggling the cooking process, you got to do all the billing, you got to do all the payables, receivables, and hopefully you got a team helping you with that.
Well, At first, I tried to juggle it because for a long time I taught full time, and did this full time. And so when COVID, I was going to go full time, and then something told me, I don't know if this is right. And I just held off, and then all the COVID stuff hit, and we're like, well, we can't do it then, obviously. And so then 21, we took it full time. And at that time, I was working 80 hours teaching and literally 80 hours doing this a week. And, I always told my first year students, hey, first 6 weeks going to be rough because I'm going home every night and going to bed about 2, 3, and I'll be back at 7 every morning with 35-minute drives. So, and I just knew because we were leaving, because once I started teaching, I left, the business phone stayed at home and no business was conducted ever while I taught, and I'd get off work, look at my phone, and there'd just be so many messages and catering opportunities. And, I knew I was losing. And so we had to make probably the toughest decision of my life and gave up teaching, which is the thing when I retire, I'll go back to and, do this full time. So
Right.
It's funny because there is just, in our area, there is 100 people that are doing catering. It's like DJs in Utah. I mean,
it's the same out here.
And they just completely cut their own throats by, like a DJ that's not charging $1,000 an event is killing the whole industry. And same thing with catering, guys that are charging $6, $7, $8 a plate. I'm like, you guys aren't making any money.
No.
And you're cutting the throat of everybody else that is charging the right pricing. I was helping a guy out of Colorado Springs today. His pricing was so low. I said, you're a one-man operation in that area. I'm like, you can charge what we charge here in that area easily, and nobody's going to even blink an eye at you.
Pricing's so hard because you just don't think people will pay for it. I mean, we were low for a long time, and we're very rural, and I do not want to run an extreme high price because I don't want to cost out my people. But at the same time, you have to make money on it. And catering, everybody. I was just telling our chamber director today, I was like, you sit down and you buy, say you pay for a $35 steak in a restaurant, and there's 100 people in that restaurant, and you're looking at that going, holy smokes, those guys just made $3,500 in each person here, and everybody combined. But it's not that way. The percentage, people don't know the percentages.
Right, especially at $12.99 a pound when it comes to a ribeye, right?
Yeah.
No, it's $19 a pound,
yeah,
$20 a pound right now.
Right. Yeah.
So for us, we worked extremely hard to run our buying power to have something to leverage. So we're able to do a little different stuff than others because we have a lot of buying power now. So
I think that's the hardest part. I ran into this to myself personally when I quote somebody for a catering. I don't cater often. I don't even do more than 40 people just because of my limitations. But you try to price it to where you're like, okay, this is going to be comfortable for them and it's going to be comfortable for me. But then when you get done with it, you're like, I just lost money.
Yeah.
But you almost have to be confident in what your quality is, and then you can charge those confident prices.
But if you do a good job,
you
lose money at the front end. But if you gain that customer for 10, 12 years, you're making that money in the back end, and you're making it more because there's so many little things that pop up. Hey, we need this, we need that, we need this, we need that. So you got to grow these customers, and you got to provide a service that they appreciate, and you got to be appreciated by them as well. And do a good job.
There's a company I cater for out in Tooele. They call me every other year for their holiday parties, and I give them a good solid price. I'm like, it's gonna vary. I tell them every time it's probably gonna go up every time you contact me, but I give them a good solid price, and then they always take care of me on the back end. They're like, thank you, Anthony, and they slide me a check, with more than I quoted. And I think it's just like you said, I earn their respect, and they know that they're going to be getting quality every time.
Well, and that's it. You do this long enough, you start to learn these lessons. Unfortunately, I don't feel I learned them fast enough, but I think everybody in business says that,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, like this past Christmas, the Christmas before, I did several prime rib dinners for Christmas parties in December, November, December, and I was charging $35 a head. Well, this last year I had to charge $50 a head because the price of prime rib just went through the
Yeah.
friggin' roof.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a commodity. I mean, prices change based on what the commodity prices are, and I don't see them coming down anytime soon.
Well, and then at Christmas, our rep told us, he's like, you do realize prime rib will go up by the week
Yeah.
for those
Yeah.
Christmas seasons. And, that's when it's in high demand. So they run the price up.
Yeah. Well, Jimmy, how many times you ever ran into this scenario? I've heard of 100 times, but you quote somebody for a wedding, you give them a quote, and then a week later they call you, well, her brother's uncle does barbecue and he's going to decide to do that, And then you're like, okay, let him do that. And then for
Mhm.
some strange reason, they call you back with a crunch window. Oh, he's unable to do it. He didn't realize how much effort this was going to take. It's always those people that think they can get a better deal, but then they end up coming back to you. That's probably happened to you hundreds of times.
No, it hasn't happened to us
No?
once. Nope.
Really?
Really?
We book out. So for weddings, we'll book out year and a half, almost 2 years in advance. We have full blown contract, deposit, the whole works. Now I can tell you down that road a little differently than what you described. We have had a lot of people, and early when we did it, we had a lot of people that, hey, could you do the meat and just do the cooking? Well, I thought that was a good idea at times. That was a horrible idea.
Mm.
So we don't do that, but we're pretty. Again, we've done this 18 years. This is going on our 18th year, and we do anywhere from 30 to 50 weddings a summer, and we have in our region we're sought after. So
That's awesome.
people locally here, they get upset because they're like, well, we wanted Jimmy L's, and they wait so long to call, and we're like, well, Jimmy L's is going to South Dakota, going to Colorado, going to Kansas, going to
Yeah,
Wyoming.
we're booked.
We're booked.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
you got to get on us soon in order to get it. But, going back to your point with caterers, it's become, there are so many of them. And, when the Traeger was invented, this is where it really changed, because you had so many people and YouTube was coming on at the same time. You just have so many people that are self-proclaimed. And
Yep.
then, you get into it, and my DJ friends are like, I've seen just some total disasters because the uncle did cook it, and, the brisket wasn't ready. And so they try to cut it anyway. And you know what that leads to. And
Yep.
just, there isn't a crock pot in the world that can save it.
Right.
So what are some tips? I'm getting feedback from somewhere. What are some tips to somebody who just is looking to come into the catering and business of barbecue? What are some big things that you made mistakes on, if you made any? Because you sound like a well-oiled machine, but to help somebody, streamline just a little bit quicker, how to quote out bids properly. What are some things that you've learned that could help somebody new getting into this game?
The number one tip is don't let your distributors railroad you. I had a distributor for a long time. When we started, I'm loyal. If you're going to treat me right, I'm going to treat you right. And I'm not going to go shop. I don't have time for it, especially when I'm teaching. And we'd run through our distributor and be like, hey, can you price us? Nope, this is what it is. Went up this much. I was like, dang, that's odd. And so I'd talk to him and be like, I know what kind of volume we're starting to move here. And this is when we weren't moving that much, couple, 5,000 to 7,000 pounds of meat a summer was all. And I was like, but then the next year it was 10 to 12,000, and it's shot up. And I was like, I know you guys should be able to negotiate price with us a little. Nope, can't do it. You're not big enough. You keep telling yourself big enough. Well, it turns out they were just sticking it right to me. So
Wow.
you got to shop, because our one distributor took us for about 35,000 that one year, and you've got to shop. You've got to shop. You've got to ask questions, and you've got to have a couple reps. And then the other thing, don't do business with anybody that doesn't treat you well. You know, you
Right.
go workplaces, and we have with our trailers. If you're not wanted to be there, don't ever go back. And that's probably the biggest thing. You know your numbers. Got to know your numbers. Have to know your numbers, because, like I said, going back to that $35 a head steak, you're not making $35. You may not even be making $5.
Right.
You know, so got to know your numbers and shop. That's the biggest lesson. And our distributor took us for thousands of dollars over tortilla chips. Well, in the vending world, probably like you guys on your competition world, you're all probably pretty tight.
Yeah.
Everybody talks.
Everybody talks. So I was like, okay, I bought 400 cases of tortilla chips, Mission tortilla chips. So I was like, so I just text my buddies. I said, hey, what price are you getting? And they were getting anywhere from $8 to $6 cheaper than me. One guy used 0 chips. The other guy used 20 cases the entire year. I used 400. And so then we changed the way we do business, and
Kind of a light bulb went off in your brain, and you're like, I got to shop a little bit more.
Just not a light bulb off in my brain, a foot up my ass, and you feel so embarrassed. You do. I felt so embarrassed. I let my team down. That was so much money that I always told my kids, when you're shopping jobs, don't leave money on the table in your interviews. It's negotiation, and I was not doing that. So that's a long rant, but
no, it's all good.
No,
that's the best advice I can give you, is be smart. Ask lots of questions.
That's a great idea. Yeah. And I feel like another one too is just be transparent with your customer. This is what you're paying for, and this is what you're getting. Don't let them think that they're going to get something and that you're not going to get them that, or the other way, right? You're going to be like, this is what we're bringing to the table. This is how we're going to present it. This is how we're going to serve you, and be straightforward. Because I've heard people like, yeah, I've catered this event. What did you do? Well, I cooked it and just dropped it off. And they were not happy with me because they thought I was going to serve. Well, you weren't clear on those, right? You need to be clear.
Correct.
Like, you want me to serve? Oh, you want me to serve? Okay, so it's going to be now this much, because now you're paying for my time to serve you, right? So
plus the staff to serve.
Exactly.
Well, and to me, if I'm going to cater your event, number one, I want to meet you. Probably want to get a picture with you, talk to your family, and get to know you a little bit. And I want to be part of your event. Now, we're the hidden side of it, but I want to make sure your event has gone off great. My biggest fear is to ruin some woman's wedding. Some young girl's special day is to ruin that. And you can ask my team. I am super uptight and nervous. I don't know how many weddings we do, but I think I'm more nervous every time I do another one. The fact that I could screw this up, and you have to do a good job. And catering to me is not drop and go. You want to drop and go, you better have a lower price, because if you're running that higher price for a catered event and you're not serving, well, what service are you providing?
Right. I think weddings have to be the most stressful, right? There's probably other events, but weddings a one and done scenario. And like you said, you get that bridezilla and something goes wrong. Oh man.
Here
comes the comments online.
Yeah. And that's where you have to be upfront and transparent with your people. This is the service we're going to provide. This is what we do. This is what we need from you. You have to be transparent, and you have to provide value. If you're gonna serve a wedding, it's 2 things I tell everybody. It's only 2 things you remember about your wedding: what your bride looked like and what you had for dinner. That's it. That's what people remember. That's the only 2 things.
Yeah.
Well, I've only had barbecue served at a wedding one time, and that was actually my sister's wedding. I was not allowed to cook it. Straight up, they came to me and said, "You are not cooking the wedding, but we want barbecue." So who do I go to? We talk to them all the time. I went to the Chris's.
Mm.
Christina was so demanding that she said that nobody is going to help her. Just Chris and I are going to do this. They served everybody. They did a wonderful job. They knew who I was. They know I can cook good barbecue, and they knew it was my family, and they came out and shined. It was an awesome evening for them, and they came out and served everybody. I couldn't resist on helping them. I helped them pack stuff in, but they're like, "No, you stop." It's like, "No, I'm not doing anything anyways. Let me help you." But I think that's exactly what you're going for Jimmy, is you want that experience to come in, do your job, have everybody like, "Wow, that was amazing," and then kind of disappear, clean up, and have that evening perfect. And I think that's what a good caterer does. They don't look for, "Oh, look at me." No, they want the focus on the event.
Yeah, no, we do a wedding. Everybody tells me you don't even leave business cards on the table. You don't have a flyer that says Jimmy L's at it. And I said, that's not my place to do that.
Right.
That has nothing to do with me.
Yeah, especially at a wedding.
Especially at a wedding. No,
Right.
there's no place for advertisement at a wedding. You do a good job, I promise you, the advertisement takes care of itself.
Yeah,
really
they'll get your information.
My wife just booked a wedding, and it's 4 sisters. The youngest one's a junior in high school. This wedding will be 3 out of the 4 sisters' weddings, which is crazy.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That is crazy.
Yeah, I don't leave cards out unless we're vending or we're doing a catering for a golf tournament or whatnot.
Right, and that's a different deal.
It's completely different. Wedding is not the venue to be doing
promote.
Advertising for yourself. Yep.
Yeah, the vending scene, that's a Jimmy L. That's fun, Jimmy L. The wedding scene, that's professional, Jimmy L. And I try not to let him come out very often, but that's 2 totally different deals.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, cool. Do you have any more questions, Jesse?
No, I'm good, man. I just was interested in some of his processes and he's wearing a lot of hats doing what he's doing. So
he's definitely pushed me out. I'm never going to try to cater.
So hats off to you, Jimmy. You're crushing it, buddy.
Sure.
Thanks, fellas. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Of course. Yeah. So let everybody know where they can find you and, reach out to you. And maybe if they want to book you in a wedding in 2027.
Sure.
No, 27. Nope. That's too soon. We'd have to go to 29.
We've got weddings booked for 27. I'll bet you $1 million. My wife probably has a 28 in there somewhere.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, no, all our social media is pretty much the same. Jimmy L's Barbecue or Jimmy L's, either one. Our website's jimmyls.com. So
sweet. Yeah, and I've checked out your website. It's a very clean website. Everything's up front and forward on there. So go visit his website. Go link up with him. And if you have an event, and apparently any side of anywhere in the United States, he'll make it happen. But
yeah, no, it's fun. I know, you guys do the competition. It's the same thing. We just do the competition, and in the competitions, I was on a podcast a while back, and the guy, it was a business podcast, and he says, "What do you have?" He said, "Do you have hunters or do you have farmers that work for you?" And I was like, "Dude, I have killers." I was like, "My girls, my guys, when we set up next to you, we want to stomp you in the dirt, be friends afterwards, but we want to take every penny from you." And everybody knows it, and we all get along, and it's fun.
Yeah, because when we used to do the vending out of the Windover events, me and Primetime, Mr. Johnson, we would always compare notes afterwards. We always wanted to beat each other,
Yeah.
It was friendly.
One of my good buddies, he sends me pictures of him fishing off the coast of Florida all the time, and then he'll be back barbecuing here at some point in Colorado, and I was just like, God, I hate you. But love him to death, and like I said, after every event we compare notes, and he always wants to beat me and I always want to beat him. It's just the way it works.
That's awesome.
Just competition, just in a different deal.
let the cash register see who is the winner.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jim, for spending the evening with us. We really appreciate it. And this is some insight to those people who want to think about getting into the catering. Once again, I'm pro go give yourself a shot, but not me in the food world. I'm not going to be, don't catch me. And it's a lot of work. And my hat's off to you for that, for sure.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Really appreciate it.
Yep.
Thanks,
You
Jimmy.
have a great evening. Yep.
You too. Thank you.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye-bye.